Welcome, friends. I'm so glad we can take some time together to explore our shared story, this incredible journey of faith that has really shaped who we are today as the Presbytery of San Fernando. You might think our story starts with the suburbs popping up in the 1950s, but that's just not the case. As Ken Baker so perfectly puts it, our roots in this soil go much, much deeper. We were here long before the freeways, a community of faith helping to shape new towns as they were just beginning to form. So let's go way back. It all starts with this one really determined evangelist. In 1884, he plants a church in Glendale, but he doesn't stop there. Just 3 years later, he does it again in Burbank. And then, and this is what's so interesting, in a totally different world, a booming high-desert mining town, Acton Community Presbyterian Church just springs to life. And this really gives you a picture of our first footprint here in northern Los Angeles County. It stretched all the way from the edge of the valley in Glendale and Burbank right into the unique landscape of Acton. We were already a presence here, a family of faith taking shape, long before we were ever formally called a presbytery. Okay, fast forward to the middle of the 20th century. The post-war growth was, well, it was immense. Our parent body, the original Presbytery of Los Angeles, had swelled to a staggering 203 congregations. I mean, think about that. A body that large, stretching from San Diego all the way to Hawaii, it was getting really hard to manage. Something had to change. And that brings us to this pivotal moment, January 4th, 1968. That's the day we were born. The massive Los Angeles Presbytery was divided into 5 new, more localized bodies. And one of those was us, the Presbytery of San Fernando, with 31 founding churches ready to serve the specific, vibrant region of Southern California. But here's a fascinating detail about our creation. It came with a challenge built right into our DNA. See, each of the new presbyteries was given a territory that didn't quite fit. For us, that was the Antelope Valley, the high desert. And this was intentional. It was a call that would force us to learn and grow and figure out what ministry really meant in a community so different from our suburban core. And talk about timing. Right at the moment of our birth, a whole new reality was dawning across the country. The high water mark of church attendance had just passed, and a long, relentless decline was starting. So this question, how would we respond? Well, that would pretty much define our journey for the next 50 years. It's like we were born at the very tail end of this incredible era of growth and stability. But we really came of age in a completely different world. One defined by decline, shifting demographics, and massive cultural changes. It forced us to ask some really tough questions about who we were and what our ministry was actually for. Out of all that struggle and prayerful thinking, something powerful emerged. In 1998, we made this declaration. We said, we're not just a regulatory body anymore. Our new vision was this. Every single one of our churches is a mission center. I mean, that was a fundamental shift in our DNA, a real game changer. Now, this vision wasn't just words on a page, right? It had legs. It led to real, concrete actions. We started by truly listening to our churches up in the Antelope Valley. We committed real talent and money to planting new churches. We invested in innovation, and we started to see the incredible diversity of our region as a gift from God. This commitment to being a mission agency led us to explore some brand new frontiers. We embraced what we called missional experimentation, and we started supporting these agile, creative groups like Bridges and Cyclical LA. We zeroed in on discipleship as our core value, equipping leaders to reach people in ways that actually made sense in a new century. Okay, but all this exciting new work created a new challenge, a really tricky one. These vital, spirit-led new worshiping communities, they weren't chartered churches in the traditional sense. So how could their leaders have a voice and a vote in our presbytery family? It was a question that really struck at the heart of our identity, this whole idea that we're all connected and every voice matters. And our solution was a truly 21st century idea. We chartered Cultivate Presbyterian Church, a church with no physical building, designed specifically to be a home for all of our new worshiping communities. It gives them a voice, a vote, and a full place at the table. It makes sure all our ministries are part of our shared journey. Through all of these changes, from 19th century church planting to 21st century innovation, this ancient call, this is our foundation. We are entrusted with the message of reconciliation. We are ambassadors for Christ. That's the sacred task that ties every single generation of our journey together. And that brings us right here to today. And to the question that guides us into whatever comes next, our story isn't over. It's still being written every single day. So as our journey continues, the question for all of us is this: how will we, together, be ambassadors of God's reconciliation in the diverse and beautiful communities we're called to serve?